welcome to RBTV's People in Perspective. Joining me today is my grandmother, Joan Czajka, who has traveled the world. Joan, you grew up in Ireland. Could you tell me about where you were born and what it was like there?
Yes, I was born in Dublin, which is the capital of Ireland. Ireland is a very small island, smaller than Illinois, in the middle of the Atlantic. I loved my life in Ireland. I had lots of aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends. And my dad worked for CIE, which was the train transport system in Ireland, so we had free travel, so it was all over.
So what did you do for fun in Ireland? Did you travel around at all?
Yes, but also there were other things we did. My dad loved Irish football, which is like soccer here. And so he also loved hurling, which is the national game of Ireland.
Oh, wow.
And so we spent lots of time at games. In fact, this hurley stick was my uncle's, and he was at one time the national champ of Ireland. That's his stick.
Oh, wow. So he's the best out of everybody?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And I loved my times in Dublin, but I spent times on my uncle's farm, and I really loved that.
Oh, so what was it like spending summers on the farm compared to the city?
Well, it was different. First of all, they had no TV, and actually they had no running water at the time.
Wow.
But I loved it. My job was to pick up the eggs every morning the chickens had laid, and also pick mushrooms, and my aunt would make them for us. I got to feed pigs, chickens, ride horses. I saw a calf being born.
Oh, wow.
It was a wonderful experience, and I had two cousins there, and I treasured those experiences.
Wow. So you moved to America as a kid. What was that like?
Well, I didn't realize, because I was only 12, so I didn't realize at first the finality of it all and how much I was leaving behind until we started saying goodbye to the people, the family, and then they would cry, and so that gave me a bit of a clue. But we came with another family who had a daughter my age, so that was comforting in a way. And my dad and my mom made it sound like it was a big experience, a great adventure.
Oh, wow. So did you come here on a boat, a plane?
No, we came on a ship, and it was called the TSS New York.
Oh, wow.
It was actually pretty nice for 1957. It had a movie theater, it had ballrooms, nice dining rooms, and there was a pool, but no water in it because it was October.
Oh, wow.
And it was a terrible crossing. I was sick the whole time because of the storms.
So once you were relocated in America, how did things go?
Well, it's a little different from, you hear about Ellis Island, where everybody come to Ellis Island, and then some of them were sent back and they had to whatever. But Ellis Island was closed by 1957. So what we did was everything was done at the American consulate in Dublin. Your physical, your immigration papers to make sure you knew you could come by the time you came. It was a little different. And we spent a few days in New York with friends, and they showed us, I remember seeing the Statue of Liberty was the first thing I saw, and the Empire State Building, and it was really very, very nice. And then we came by train to Chicago.
Oh, wow. So then once you were there, did you travel back to Ireland at all?
Many times. I've been by myself, I've been with my parents, my children, and my husband. And it's bittersweet. I love while I'm there. It's nice to see friends and family. But every time I'm leaving on the plane coming back, I watch for that last part of Ireland, and I actually shed a tear sometimes. Because I'm never sure if I'll get back there.
So what other countries around Europe have you visited?
I've been to England, France, Monte Carlo, let's see, where else? Belgium, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Croatia, let's see, where else have I been? Greece and all the Greek islands, and to Israel, and to Turkey. And all the Caribbean islands I've been to. And I've been to Jamaica and Mexico and Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow. So which would you say is your favorite?
You know, I loved every single place I've been to. It's very hard to pick. But Italy was something special, I think, because Venice is so unique with the waterways. The Pompeii, where the people are they're just stone because of the volcano that erupted a long time ago. And Rome, of course, is wonderful. They have excavated down 3 levels of civilization to the Etruscan age, so you get to see, and the Colosseum. It's just a different country, and the vineyards, it's beautiful. But I've loved them all.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. Thank you for joining us today on People in Perspective.
Oh, well, maybe you want to hear about my travels in the U.S.
Sure.
I've been just about everywhere in the United States. My husband and I love hiking, and so we've hiked many of the high points in Colorado and all the states, the national parks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I actually have to say that, and even in Alaska and in Hawaii, I even have to say that even though I've seen beautiful countries throughout the world, some of the best scenery and the most wonderful places I've seen in the United States.
Huh. What's your favorite state to go to?
Colorado.
Colorado?
Because you lived there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back to Ireland, do I have time?
Yeah, I think we do.
Okay. I didn't like school in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
It was more difficult. And mostly because we had to learn another language in addition to English. It was Gaelic. This is what it... I don't really remember it.
No.
And learning some of the math was difficult when you were dealing with money because you had 12 pennies in a shilling, 20 shillings in a pound, so long division was horrendous.
Oh, wow.
But we had no homework. That was the only good part. But one time the pipes burst and we had a week off.
Oh,
and
wow.
every year I prayed and hoped that the pipes would burst again so we would have a week off.
So how was the weather in Ireland then?
Not good.
Not good?
Well, I mean, you can be lucky, but it does rain. It's more like Seattle, like Washington State. And so, but you get used to it. I thought everywhere was like that, because when you live there, that's what you think.
Mm-hmm.
But, and one special place I've been to, I've been to everywhere in Ireland, but Blarney Castle is famous. And you get to kiss the Blarney Stone. And if you have kissed the Blarney Stone, they say you have the gift of gab, but I've kissed it twice.
Oh, wow. So what is the gift of gab?
You can talk forever.
Talk forever? Do you think that worked?
Yes.
So what's your favorite part of Ireland? Like what was your greatest memory there?
My greatest memory probably was in Dublin. I mean, every time cousins would come to visit, even though I was 12 and under. Oh, and I played tennis there. I lived down the block from a tennis club, so I've played tennis ever since I was 10 until maybe a year ago. So that was fun for me. But I also loved when people would come to visit us, I would get to take them by bus to places like Trinity College, which is the oldest one in Europe. And we also kept students from there. We always had 2 students at a time, university students. And I thought they were part of my family. I didn't realize that they would come and go at the time. But many people do that there for extra money because they did not allow for enough housing for the universities.
So did you live in a house or did you have an apartment?
No, we lived in a house. And so the students would usually live together in a room, and then we were in the other bedrooms. So, but they ate meals with us. It was like they were family. They lived with us. I can remember them.
So I see you've brought in some items here. Can you tell me about something? What's this book right here?
Well, this is one of my school books from when we went to school in Ireland. We had to learn everything we learned in English. We also had to learn in Gaelic, even though Gaelic was not spoken at the time anymore. And I believe they still have to, so that was hard. And then, but you know, you learned it, and I do remember a few phrases, but I couldn't really read this now anymore.
Huh. So you don't remember much of that?
I can say Canas Tatu, which is, how are you?
How are you? Nice.
And I also brought the map of Ireland just to show you. It is a small island in the Atlantic. And I was born in Dublin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And but I've traveled throughout Ireland. And I probably know every single part of it. The top part of it is still owned by England, and the bottom is Ireland. Yeah. And a very famous place in Ireland is actually Blarney Castle. And it's an old castle. You can climb up to the top of it, and then they hang you over the edge, and actually you kiss the Blarney Stone. And folklore has it that once you kiss the Blarney Stone, you have the gift of gab, so you can talk and talk and talk.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
I think I mentioned before about hurling being a national sport of Ireland, and this is a hurley that was my uncle's. He was the All-Ireland hurler long time ago. And but he gave it to my dad, and so I still have it.
Oh wow, so he was the best player in all of Ireland?
Yes. So this is called a hurley, and the game is hurling.
Huh. All right, thank you for coming to talk about your travels. We'll see you next time on People in Perspective.